All right, you're coming to this video, you're excited, you're saying, "I'm so ready to find out what APY is." How come there's no definition here? Maybe I lied to you. Maybe we're not going to talk about APY at all. But let's look at an example. Let's say that you invest $1,000 into an account that has 10% APR, 10% interest, but it's compounded monthly. Do you actually make 10% in that year? Why or why not? So remember, if 10% is compounded monthly, then each month, right? Each month we're getting this much, which is like 0.08, like 0.8%. Really, we're getting about 0.8% every month. And it's compound interest, right? So after that first month, we get 0.8%. And then after that second month, we get 0.8%. And that includes the interest from the first month. But we're actually going to get more than 12%, more than 10% interest. Because every month, we're actually growing based on the interest we've already gotten. So how much do we actually make in a year? What percent are we really getting in the year? Let's find out. The amount is going to be the principal times 1 plus r over k to the kt. Can we pretend that's a parenthesis? It looks like a vertical bar. So P, we're investing $1,000. Let's say 10% APR every month, raised to the 12 times 1 year. What does that actually equal to? Calculate it. 1,000, 1 plus 10% every month. That's 1104.71. 10% interest would mean, oops, not that. 10% interest would be this. If it were simple interest, that would be 10%. We made more than 10%. Whoa, we made an extra $4.71. That's half as much as we made when we loaned our friend $300. All right. So we actually made some bonus money. All right. And that's what that's what APY is all about. So how much money did we actually make? It's this money divided by starting, that's 10.47%. It actually grew by 10.47%. Extra stuff. All right. So that's what APY is all about. 10% APR compounded monthly is 10.47% APY. There we go. So let's define this. The annual percentage yield, not the annual percentage rate. The annual percentage yield is APY, and it's the actual percent that a quantity increases in 1 year. Depends on the APR, depends on the compounding frequency. Sometimes you'll see APY listed, sometimes you'll see APR listed. Make sure you're comparing apples to apples, okay? Or a lot of times for like credit card stuff, they'll do APR, so it looks lower. And then a lot of times on like investing stuff, they might say APY, so it looks higher. Trying to do that. So just make sure that it's consistent. And you can calculate one from the other. Again, remember R is your APR written as a decimal. So that's how you can convert it. So example 5 says we're looking at the Bank of Jason. And the Bank of Jason is offering an account with 1.2% APR compounded quarterly. The Bank of October offers an account with 1.1% APR compounded daily. Which is offering the better rate? So Bank of Jason looks more generous, 1.2%. But remember that there's the CEO of Bank of October. Remember that the more often you compound, the more money you make. So it's compounding more often. Is it good enough? Is Bank of October actually the better offer? Let's find the APYs. Okay. So APY for the Bank of Jason, we can write a little J subscript, is going to be, what was our formula again? 1 plus R over K. It's very similar to the compound interest, just no principal, or the principal is 1. And then we subtract out that 1 later. Okay, so it's going to be 1 plus R over K to the K. We're only looking after 1 year. Minus 1. So that's 1 plus Bank of Jason's 1.2% APR. That's how that's written as a decimal. It's compounding quarterly. So this is what it looks like. We can find this with a calculator. That's going to be 1 plus 1.2% compounded quarterly. We have 4 quarters in a year. Subtract 1, it's 0.01205. What percent is that? To convert it to a percent, just move the decimal place twice. About 1.205% APY. Compounding quarterly doesn't give you a lot of extra stuff. Not compounding that often. So the APY is pretty close to the APR, right? 1.2% APR, 1.2058% APY. They're pretty similar. This is the Bank of Jason, BOJ. Okay. Cool people call it BOJ. And the other one is the APY for the Bank of October. That's going to be very similar, right? But now it's 1.1% interest, and it's compounded daily. Let's pretend there's no leap years. So compounding daily is better, but it's a lower interest rate. What's the APY looking like? I don't know. Let's edit our formula. 0.011 now, compounding 365 times. 0.01106. Written as a percent. Let's move the decimal twice. That's 1.106% APY. Oh, Bank of October. Boo. So yeah, compounding more frequently has a bigger impact on it. Like it makes the APY higher, but nowhere near high enough, right? It's still close to 1.1% APR. But this increased by 0.005%. This increased by 0.006% to get to APY. Still go to the Bank of Jason. Come on, what did you expect? You're going to bank with a cat? I don't think so. A cat who's named after, she's actually not named after a month. She's named after a character in a Seanan McGuire novel called October Day. Oh, common misconception. You learned an October fact here, as well as banking facts. So the 12% APR is a better rate because it has a higher APY. That's our conclusion here. And that's the end of the section. So APR is that percentage rate that you get in a year, and it's split up depending on how often it compounds. APY is like more standardized. That's how much percent is your investment actually growing in a year? Or how much percent is your debt growing every year if it's like a credit card? APY. Okay. So APY gives you it incorporates more information. APY incorporates the compounding, whereas APR is like, has to be paired with the compounding. In general, APY gives you a better picture how something would actually grow in a year. All right. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a good one. Bye-bye.